Hi, good afternoon. My name is Anne, and I'm with the band Dream Aria. And this is my very first edition of the Canadian Content Corner conversation via Zoom. So we're going to be talking with a very special guest shortly. She really needs no introduction, but nonetheless, it's going to be the most fabulous Darby Mills of the legendary Headpins. So hold on to your hats. She will be joining us shortly. I am quite well, thank you. How are you?
Well,
all things considered, right?
Things considered, trying to stay positive.
Absolutely.
Trying to
do
as many right things as I can do.
That's the thing. I mean, it's very trying times. So it's even in the best of times, we have our struggles. So you can only imagine now, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So, I just want to thank you so much for taking your valuable time out to come and chat with me via Zoom. This is my very first official Zoom meeting. You are the first, so so bear with me. But sorry?
It's all good.
Awesome. And I just wanted to say, of course, you've been an amazing inspiration to me probably since I was around 12 or 13. And I won't mention any other numbers, but that aside, here we are all these years later, and I have to say I never would have imagined I'd be sitting here having a chat with you. So thank you again. I appreciate that. All right. So I was thinking, I have about 80 questions that were going through my head. I probably won't touch on all of them, of course. And you have to let me know if you need to leave at any time or need to pause. That's fine. But I was thinking of going, I know you're doing all these amazing things right now, of course, with the Darby Mills project and your jewelry. And I saw something with toque that was really awesome, and we'll get up to that later. But I'm actually curious about going back to the very, very beginning. And what I mean by that is, how did you even know you had this voice? At what age? How did that come to be? How did you recognize, oh, I have this voice and I want to use it? And what pushed you and drove you, and who influenced you? So that's my big loaded first question, I guess.
That's more than one question.
I know, I'm sorry, I have a lot.
Yeah, you want a quick answer? I don't think I'm capable, just to let you know. So.
There's no rush, there's no, don't worry, anything you would like to share is great. So.
Okay, so I think the first question was when, and I knew from really young, 5, 6, that I was going to be an entertainer of some sort. Thought an actress.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I did for a lot of years, and then I also grew up. My father was a singer, and
nice.
Listened to him as a child. A lot of this stuff is on the website if you want to read it rather than have me say it.
I will definitely, I have done some research on various sites and whatnot, but I kind of wanted to hear it from the lady herself. Sorry.
Right. No, that's fine. I was more speaking to your listeners if they wanted to.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Because it's not a I was going to say it's not a news story, but it might be to some. But so my dad would sing when I was a young child at the bonfire around the family cabin, and the lake was about a mile wide, and there was campsites or cabins that surrounded the lake, and he would sing a song at the bonfire at night in the dark, and you could hear applause coming from the other side of the lake after he sang, and I was sold. I was just like, wow, that's huge. So that was the first switch that I recognized.
And something went off.
All kinds of little ones and just direction things, and the ability to travel, the ability to, had I known how hard it was going to be, I don't know if I'd have done it.
That's fair.
It has not been, the job is to make it look good enough that everybody wants to do it.
That's
so
true.
that you remain popular.
Yes,
that's the job,
true.
right?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I have to say, though, that is a beautiful image, a beautiful memory. I can almost hear it and even smell the campfire and sense the water, the calm of the water, and just having that audience just that you can't see and that you know are out there just appreciating that's a beautiful thing. And definitely I can't imagine how that had an impact on you emotionally, and well, because it's your dad too, right? Very special. And I can relate to that myself because both my parents played in the symphony. So I all the time heard them playing French horn. I mean, the whole house would be shaking, right?
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Oh yeah, you know,
Very
it was.
cool.
I feel very, very lucky, and I'm sure you feel lucky too that you've had music from day one in your life. I know it's been your life, right? So I can relate to that too, and I've all kinds of stories myself. But anyway, moving on. So were there any particular vocalists that influenced you? I'm sure there must be.
Well, yeah, but the very, very first, I listened to show tunes as a kid. I would put those records on, Oklahoma, and there was a black one with a rainbow on it. I can't remember, but I listened to them nonstop, sang them all. But that was not your question.
No, that is. I mean,
influences.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but as a person who realized they thought maybe they could be a singer, it was, of course, Ann Wilson.
Oh, yes, I can hear that.
Pre that would have been Linda Ronstadt, and then after that, right after Ann Wilson, within the first year of singing Dreamboat Annie songs. Nice. For a year in my parents' basement, put my first band came together in my parents' basement. And after about a month of rehearsing, the guitar player brought the Pearl album over and said, check this out.
Very nice.
You sound like her.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized that I had a sound. And even though I've done many different sounds. I was in a 7-piece African-American band from Harlem, New York, for a very short period of time, but I lived with them and I traveled with them.
Wow, and that's amazing.
That was very different. It was dance, blues, disco.
Wow.
And, and it was on the road with them that I ran into Steelback, and then Steelback ran into the Headpins, or vice versa.
Yeah,
and that was 1979, joined the band in 1980.
Wow. And from there. Now, what about this reference? I mean, Janis Joplin, I've heard people, mention that reference, but, personally, she never crossed my mind when I've heard you sing. I hear Darby Mills on your own, and I'm not just saying that. I say, honestly, I only heard that reference a few days ago, and I thought, oh, yeah, okay, maybe some of the rasp, but other than that, I hear that showiness, that show tune, now that you say that, and I hear some of that Ann Wilson in the phrasing and emotion, but you've got definitely your own, you've got all different kinds of qualities. You've got sort of that clean, angelic sweetness, almost childlike, right up, to the gritty rasp, right? So I don't know if I ever heard Janis sing sweet and angelic. But
well, that's the thing, and being in the band, the Headpins that I was for basically 36 years, those weren't options, and truth be told, that was okay for many years, but started being a caregiver to my mom and dad, and 3 years after getting them back to health, lost my mom, and 6 months later my husband died on a gurney in our driveway. They brought him back to life. They broke 10 ribs. I have the story many times.
Scary. Yeah, I've heard the story. But, I'm so sorry you went through all of that.
Well, you know what? It makes you who you are, and life's not easy. There will always be challenges, and here's one of my epiphanies 7-8 years ago, is that if there's always going to be challenges, you might as well figure out how to fight for your own end game, your own, being part of, and this is down and dirty, being part of the Headpins was fabulous. Good times, bad times. But in the end, or at the end for me, there was no, I was bouncing off the walls trying to express myself. And then the realization that life is short. You could be gone tomorrow. There's no more excuses if you're laying on your this is it bed going 2 years ago I should have done this. I would have had it done by now. So that kind of just shook me to the roots or to the core, and I decided it was time to act on it. And so unfortunately it wasn't a pleasant thing, and life sucks sometimes, but
it's a catalyst. A lot of times pain and suffering can be a big catalyst, and like you said, very painful at the time, but then we go through this huge growth.
There's a saying out there, I'm sorry, the neighbor's cat is peeking down on me.
He wants to be
such a little devil. She's
I love it.
Bad. I'm in my basement, right? And she's standing in the window going like, what are you doing in there?
So cute. I love it. I wish I could see the animal lover here. So.
Yes, Cat Baloo, who's a friend of a pheasant that come and they play together.
The pheasant. Oh, wow.
It's a crazy world,
I need
when
video.
They can get along, if
can
they can get
video?
along.
I'm requesting video.
I have posted some video on the cat and on the pheasant, but not playing. It happens in my neighbor's yard, and I don't always want to be peeking at my neighbor's yard.
Yeah, peeping Tom. Yeah, well, knowing
it's frowned upon in some places.
Knowing me with my fancy cameras, that would be like, all stealthy and trying to get that
footage. Good. That's good. I'll take her word for it.
Well, shh, I know nothing. And that reminds me too. I was going to ask. I think, do you have a fur baby? I think you have. Did you have a dog? Do you have a dog of your own? Oh, hello. So sweet.
Did you see him?
I did.
That's Darby, the house elf.
That's so sweet.
He's named after, actually, Darby from Harry Potter, and he's 14. Aww. And he's not doing really good, and I love him so much, and I'm just dreading the day. But
so he's a sweetie. He's lucky to have you and the family, and and I have to say too. I mean, not to get back to the whole gurney incident, but from what I've seen, especially in the Queen of Scream video, your husband is so supportive, and I think partly because he was a musician, right, or in the field, but he's married to you, so I'm so glad to see that he was supportive, because that doesn't always happen.
He wasn't a musician. He co-managed the Headpins.
Management in the biz is what I meant. Sorry. Yes.
He plays bass. He thinks he plays bass.
bass solo. Oh, that's amazing. So you've got this. You've got your lovely fur baby. You've got your amazing supportive husband, and I believe you have. Is it 2 sons?
2 boys. Yeah.
2 boys, and they're grown, right? They're.
27 and 22 in about a week and a half. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So now, what do they think about rock star, Queen of Scream, mom, the icon, the legend? How do they grow up feeling about that? Or are they just, it's just my mom?
Pretty much. Yeah. It's just something that I left quite frequently to go do, and I'd come home, and they both saw me at like 3 or 4 and indifferent, 8 or 9 indifferent, 15 that's kind of cool, maybe, but don't admit it. And
don't admit it.
one of them thinks I'm cool now.
That's sweet. I like it. And I've noticed that with my own daughter growing up, although she loves music. She's been singing since she was a few days old. She wasn't the type to cry and fuss. She would literally hum herself to sleep. I thought, well, that was easy. I didn't have to do anything. Nice. And she just has been singing ever since. But when she sees me doing things with my band, she's like, yeah, whatever. And it's like you say, some days, that's cool. Mom, other days, it's like, you're so weird. I don't know. I'm creative. I'm sorry. I'm going to be weird. But it's kind of funny with how kids perceive us and all that within the music realm. So, all right, well, that's great. Now, are your kids musicians at all, or they do completely opposite?
No, no, no. The oldest one definitely opened my eyes to back when he was in high school to some new styles of music and some new artists, and I'm really glad he did. Some of them remain on my playlist, my workout playlist that I have been doing for 6-7 years. So
yeah. Care to name any names?
No, actually, I don't. I don't care to name any of them. No, they're my, they're my sacred.
That's all right. That's all right.
Songs. Yeah.
Well, you know what I find? Okay, well, here's something. What you hear this a lot. I mean, okay, well, I've been hearing this probably since the early 90s. Today's music sucks. Is this true? How do you feel about that? I have my own feeling on it, but
I've been saying this for generations, as I have a few under my belt.
Yeah.
Every generation needs to have their own identity, and if they didn't, I would be singing Neil Diamond because that's what my parents listened to nonstop.
Exactly. That's a perfect way to.
Yeah. They let me go. They did, hell, I was the fourth child of 4. And by then they just said, yeah, okay, go ahead, go join a rock band. See ya.
That's it. Awesome. Well, this is the thing too. And you're right, because every era has their style. And I mean, all the other types of music have been built upon those styles. So if there weren't those eras and those styles, we don't really know where we'd be. But there's a lot of rehashing too, of course. Things sort of come and go in cycles. And what I've noticed through my daughter, and I'm really thankful for this actually, because I went through my own phase of thinking, oh, I'm not sure I'm liking today's music anymore. I just want to listen to the old stuff. But I'm still open-minded, but I was a little concerned with what I was hearing. I wasn't feeling it. But suddenly, and because I'm open-minded and because my daughter's always listening to her music, she's been playing all these songs on YouTube, and I'll just stop what I'm doing and I'll think, what is that? That's really good. So she's really helped open my eyes. And this is her music, her era. And I never thought that I would be so into, maybe I shouldn't name any names myself, but honestly, a lot of it is what I tell my daughter. I say, Aaliyah, this band sounds like they're trying to imitate like New Order mixed with The Cult, mixed with Motley Crue. I said these I can tell these new bands are into that old stuff. I can hear it. It's almost like a direct ripoff and mashup. And it's done well. It's not, bad, or it doesn't even feel too contrived or anything like that. But a lot of this retro has become new with a modern twist. So I'm hearing retro new wave, retro 80s rock, retro glam rock, all coming out with these young kids doing it, and really well produced and all that. So, and I won't name any names, but I'm happy to report that, you know what, there is some really great stuff coming around these days. So I'll leave it at that. So, So now here's another fan favorite. They want to know the whole figure skating thing. How did that come to be, and how long did you do that? And was it something that you thought might be a career, or was it just a passing phase?
No, I figure skated for 12 years.
That's a long time.
I did okay. I was definitely not the best in the school, but did well enough that I was invited to a Karen Magnuson bursary summer school.
Yeah.
And did okay, but at 16, if you weren't the best, you were too old. So
already
realized that really fast. Started music at the same time. I was weaning off figure skating, but in grade 10 or grade 11, I can't remember exactly now, I was offered a position to go be a full-time instructor, leave school, and teach in a small town in northern BC. And I decided that that's not what I wanted to do. I stayed in school, I graduated, and it was in those last 2 years, kind of in that time period, that my first band came together, and that's the path that I ended up going on. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess what's happening now is pretty amazing, this whole Darby Mills project. So what led you to that? So from Headpins, you were with them 30,
Well,
36
I
years?
kind of already mentioned what led to it. You
Yes.
know, life changes
Yes,
and
that too.
realities,
Yes.
and knowing that any day now I'm going to be another year older, and the thought of being the age I am right now when I started this, did not enter my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And so how many years I have left doing the vocal strength of the Headpin style music, even the project music, it's full on vocals. I mean, I'm not a singer, I'm a belter, or at least while I'm performing that material, I'm a belter. You can't sing that stuff. Well, you can, but it doesn't sound like what it's meant to sound like. So I'm being very realistic that I might have limited years. Like, I'm being realistic. There would be limited years in how long I'm going to be able to do. Psst, come here, turn it. So and
yeah.
You know, when I'm wearing granny pantyhose, I don't know if I want to sing that. To be honest with you, so
yeah, no, I hear you.
That's kind of what the project was just to try and round it out a little bit. And a year ago started working on a local project here in the Okanagan, so that the amount of work an artist of my caliber gets per year is dwindling every year. The like-minded or like-aged ticket buyers are dying off. The truth. I'm a realist.
I know.
And or at least they're not coming out to 20 concerts a year anymore. They're doing 3 or 4, or they're not doing any.
Well, right now, unfortunately, there's not really any concerts happening right now.
That's how I get paid.
This is the thing. I mean, live music is just taking such a beating. I really feel for the artists. I mean, that's their bread and butter. And I give them credit too for trying to do the Zoom shows, collaborations, which can be, a little tedious too, right? And I know you've been doing some home recording and trying to balance, getting bed tracks from various people within your, collaboration circle. And and I guess you've been, now, had you done a lot of home studio recording yourself before, or is this more being pushed on you now because of COVID? You're more.
No, I had not. My gear is ancient. It's but you know what? It functions, and
it works.
The vocals for the medley that we just put out, we're all done sitting in my bathroom with my husband sitting at our laptop, or my music laptop.
The engineer, that's awesome. Yeah, the husband engineer.
So,
I love it.
you know what? Perfection is a luxury today.
It is. But everything is sounding amazing. I mean, it sounds perfect to me. What I've heard. I mean, the medley, and also I really enjoyed the Took Don't Make You Feel video with the fans and all that, and then your cameo in there. It sounded great. It looked great with the fans. Todd sounded amazing on the vocals, of course, and you sounded great. Actually, you two together sounded really good. Your voices really fit well together. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, he can do anything.
Yeah, he is. He's great. He's got a fantastic voice, and he can go really high without that strained sound. He's just really open, It's great. And then there's you. You can go into the stratosphere yourself, and then some. So now, were these people in D.M.P. people you'd worked with before, or I guess that's what I meant by how did D.M.P. come to be? I think I meant to ask more about the actual musicians involved. How did you get them to sign on and go that route? These are people that you'd already worked with?
There's been some changes already in the lineup of the band, or there was 2 years in. This would have been our 5th year. And so we went 2 years with the same 4 players. And then we now, for the last 2 years, have a new drummer and a new bass player. And Yes, pretty much all of them I've known since being in Steelback back in the 80s, or
That's a
that
long
era
time, yeah.
when we were all club bands. And, these guys are still, all but one, are still lifers. They're still trying to make their living, or making their living. We're making their living off the music industry. So a great bunch of guys, and you know what? Life is just too short not to be enjoying what you're doing, and it's really nice to be working with these guys, because they're all sweet, and they enjoy this. They're enjoying this journey with me. It was a bit of a risk.
Yes,
I was a bit of a risk.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know how many times you have to actually do something and prove yourself before you've actually proven yourself. But I guess the reality is you've never proven yourself. You have to continue to prove yourself again and again and again and again, right? So
that makes
sense. You always have to continue. But you know what? These guys saw something in me that they wanted to hitch their wagons onto my choo-choo train. So
I love that.
We onward we go.
Well, it's what, and it comes through in the music. When I listen, you can actually feel and sense that sort of joy of that collaboration and actually creating those songs, and then the performances are just outstanding across the board. I'm not just saying that. So I had another fresh listen last night before I went to bed, and I thought, oh yeah, they're really, really inspiring songs. I really like them. Some really sassy stuff on there too. Now,
what did you say? Sassy?
Sassy. Sassy. I like the sassy.
I think so. Oh, I wonder what song you'd be thinking of.
You know what? It was the one about the bad boy, I think it was.
Yes.
So yeah,
I was much younger when I wrote that song.
Well, it's quite sassy. I quite got a kick out of that one. It was. I was going to say something else now. Oh my goodness, I have so many thoughts going through my head. Oh, I know what it was. Is it the House of Pooh?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
House on
Pooh.
House on Pooh Corner.
That's the one. Now, how did that come to be? And that's right on that album, right? Is it the last song?
It's on Flying Solo. Yeah. It's an a cappella version on Flying Solo. It wasn't supposed to be a cappella, and it was supposed to have harmonies, and it was supposed to have a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But while we were remastering, because the album or the CD is actually originally came out in 1990, called Never Look Back.
Yes.
And it hit the radio for a year. We toured it for a year, and then the deal went. I lost the deal, and at that point I'd been married 10 years and not had a holiday or a honeymoon, and it was it was just like, it's time to get out of the business. It's time to have a break, maybe have some babies, and get on with life, because that was my first effort 5 years after being fired from the Headpins in 85. It took 5 years to get that all together. Not that I didn't do a bunch of stuff in the meantime. I went to England. I recorded with Pete Townsend, Tina Turner's Players. It's been so long, the names escape me, but that album ended up never coming out. I lost my deal at Warner Music Los Angeles to a new A&R man at the record company who didn't want to break somebody else's project. So he let me go when my guy got fired or disappeared.
No.
He signed Tiffany, so she did great, right? So
she did. Yeah. Okay, well.
So there you go.
Fair enough. Stuff happens. But yeah, it's an interesting song. I mean, different. That kind of came out of left field for me, and I wasn't sure what.
Oh, House on the Corner. That's from my childhood. That one, and I also sang it at my mom's funeral. So.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, very sentimental.
It's near and dear to me, that one.
It is indeed. Well, thank you for sharing that little bit of information on that. I appreciate it. Now, what do you think about this whole idea that music is this male-driven business. I've never really bought into that because I'm a very stubborn Aries woman, but what is your take on that? Have you found it to actually be a struggle or just kind of a fun challenge? Because I see that as if I'm an Aries, you want to challenge me with something, I'm going to have fun with this. So,
well, I think the point that you're making there is very valid, but when you get to those places, as I was just mentioning,
mm-hmm.
that man got fired and the other man came in and turfed
Yep.
me.
Yeah.
And his man boss and his man's boss and the other man and then the man and then the man. It is a man's business.
That's
and
what I'm saying, yeah.
Being in the bands, there were more women than there were in the business, right? So it's the old guys network for sure, without a
boys
doubt.
club, right? They call it. Yes. Yeah.
And so you do what you can. Personally, I just became a guy. That's how I got through it. I just became one of the guys.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
You know, so you got to toughen up. But after a while, you realize you're not one of the guys, or at least I have.
Well,
it's still pretty tough, but I'm not one of the guys. It's like, you guys go. I'm good. I'll stay with the girls.
Yeah. I feel you there. I totally can relate because I'm a woman in the music business too, so I get that. Okay, so how about something kind of fun and different? What's your favorite color? I'm just wondering.
Oh, I don't have one.
So you have like a palette of colors you like, or?
I like them all.
You like them all? That's kind of like me. Well, purple's mine, but I kind of like colors for different reasons and different moods, different mediums. And
my question to you is, why pick? There you go.
Well, this is the thing, right? The more the better, variety. And you know, and since I've been getting out in nature more with my camera, just the incredible palette, Mother Nature, the colors. You can't pick one.
Yes.
It's just, and it's ever changing and just all different shades of the same color. It's all good. So I have to agree with you there. How about favorite flavor or food? And do you cook it for your family?
You know, I've never been able to answer these kind of questions.
You don't have to.
Yeah. Sorry, just got messages coming in here. I just find that that's another decision that I'm being asked to make that I really don't need to have to make.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I make enough decisions in the day. I don't freaking care. You know, like I like lots of foods. Yeah, right. You know, and not that it's a bad question. That's just my outlook on it.
Yeah,
I used to work with somebody who was in those long 6-10 hour drives, always on you about, okay, so if you had to lose an arm or a leg, what would it be? It's like, I don't want to make that decision. Why even think about it? Like, it's like, don't bring that into my mojo, you know? What do I want to think? So I've developed a bit of a soft spot or sore spot maybe for that style of question because
I hear you because there's too much the pressure. But pressure.
That's like, I don't need the pressure.
Not the pressure. But when I was thinking about color, I was thinking about your jewelry, and you. So I was wondering maybe if you preferred the earth tones, right? So I thought, she got all those beautiful.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For the jewelry.
Of course, I'm not in earth tones today, but normally I'm dressed in earth tones. And I like making jewelry with rocks. I've been a rock hound all my life. So that's just one more. Don't fight it. Be who you are.
Yeah. Right? Well, it's another creative outlet, and you're obviously a very creative energy and person. So that's amazing. And the more outlets, the better. I say, why limit yourself, right? It could be writing, photography, dance, could be anything. But when I saw those earth tones, I just thought, I wonder if she's drawn to those particular colors or just stones in general. And so I guess that's where that color question came from. But
and then whatever it is you can find, because I don't tend to go and buy a lot of my stuff other than the wire and whatever.
The tools.
I do have a line called Search and Rescue, which is 40 years I've been traveling across the country, I made it my mission to go to as many secondhand and thrift stores as possible and pick up wonderful old pieces of jewelry that I take apart and put back together. So search and rescue.
I love that. That's absolutely fitting. That fits.
You don't get to choose with that kind of stuff. What color you just see beauty in whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's how I chose, right? And but yeah, earth tones and gem tones.
Yeah, the jewel gem tones. And is your line, I think, did I hear somewhere called Phantom Designs?
Phantom Designs, yeah.
So search and rescue, but Phantom Designs. Okay.
Well, there's a few lines.
A few lines. Oh my goodness. Where have I been? Speaking of rocks, I might have been under one. I don't know. But
there's a line called Guinevere.
Guinevere.
And and that's the first. That line is very much Elizabethan or MacArthur or Sword and Stone. I'm fairly certain I was there for a while, and that style of with the resources I have, with the glass bricks that I work with, and the wire that I wrap and hit and bang and and, that stuff to me all comes from that era. It just it's to me that's why, and hence the name, the Guinevere line, because
it sounds almost Victorian and but even further back.
Well,
than that,
whatever.
It's whatever. I mean, you're drawn to it, And okay, so fair enough. So, and I will include some links, of course, to all of these things in the article and all that. Okay, so I guess my other question, maybe some words of wisdom for any up-and-coming artists. We probably get asked that a lot too. But, I like to hear your take on, especially during COVID, if you've got any sort of, anything you wanted to share with
I do
up
actually
and coming during these really trying times, because being
words
an
of
artist
wisdom
now,
words of wisdom that,
whether it's to other artists or just in general,
regardless of COVID or non-COVID times. The biggest lesson I think that I've learned is to continue to learn, continue to grow, keep trying new things, and be as good as you can at as many angles or options that are available to you. And because you can spend a lot of time wasting time going down the wrong path, even though that's a learning lesson. That's I'm starting to understand that I might not be a very smart human being, but I definitely have wisdom that I've earned by making mistakes, right? So one of the biggest mistakes that I think I made is that I didn't continue on a few other paths that I let fall away. And I wish I had. And those are mine, and yours will be yours.
That's right.
But don't do as much as you can, be as wise as you can. Mind you, the music industry, excuse me, is so much different now. It's so different the way it works. I mean, the bands and the writers still aren't making money. It's still a scam. But there are people making good money off the industry. So the sooner you learn who those are and how to try to maneuver through that minefield, then you might make some money at it, because you won't be doing it live anymore. You won't be making money live. Not that making money live was, for a lot of bands that were out there working, that was hand to mouth, but that was the life they chose. So, kudos for being in the right place at the right time and activating that knowledge and putting it in motion and then keeping it in motion. These are all rungs on a ladder.
Yes.
My son said one of his friends, looks like they got a deal. He was 20 years old, first year in university. And I'm like, you know what? That's fantastic. That's rung like 3 on the ladder. Before he's going to see any money, he has to make rung 50. Rung 60.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many steps, so many levels to go through. And that's, if I'd have known all this when I started, I might not have gone there. But it was a passion, and if it's your passion and then that's your calling, then go do it.
Absolutely, I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, how about anything new on the horizon that you might want to share? Do you think there's going to be any new recording?
Well, we just put the medley out.
Yes,
you know, we're really
excellent.
proud of that.
Yeah.
That's the other shame about today. I mean, the amount of energy and time, and even though it came together really fast, but the amount of years of everybody that came together to make this project happen so fast. Darn, I've gone off the track here. Anything new? So the fact that's out, it got its 7 days of look what they did, and then it dies. And so that's the life of an artist in my position anyway. That you're lucky if you get a week's worth of publicity out of something new. I've got a new track. It's 3/4 done with some fabulous players out of Toronto.
Great. Oh, great.
I have mentioned their names in the past. I'm going to hold back right now just because I am.
Okay.
But the vocals, now I can start working on the vocals again. I got a shot at them while I was in Toronto before, at the end of last summer. But I'm pretty sure I can do a way better job than what's on there now. So it's I'm going to take this time. Why rush right now and put out something that's going to get 5 days of, if you're lucky, appreciation, and then be nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm holding off on putting this out and pushing this until the timing's right.
Just savoring for the right
moment.
You
know, so that there's something to open up some eyes. Life is a market for people in the industry right now, or it can be, if you want to continue to keep your product, your trademark in the minds of people that have a 1 day attention span. That's the thing. That's not a bad thing. That's just the way life is these days. If you're lucky, right? You know, so every day you wake up, or I do anyway, going, okay, what can I do to work my job today? Because I can't go do it as a singer, or at least an entertainer live. So where do I spend the money to upgrade my gear so that I can do a live show? Or it's a whole new business these days. You now are in the industry. You're the artist. You're probably the writer. You're definitely the manager, or you have to have some kind of skill as a manager to make sure the guy you've hired is doing his job. Yes. Right? Then you have to know how to work radio, which doesn't exist anymore. I have as many radio friends out of work right now as anyone else.
Oh my goodness.
And lost their jobs, not just on hold. It's like, you don't work for us anymore. So everything is changing. Everything is changing. And if you don't adapt.
That's the thing. It's about adaptability now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I mean, it's unfortunate in some ways that music isn't just a luxury of total enjoyment.
True.
For artists anymore. It's your freaking job. Get on it.
So yes, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and I admire that on your social media. I mean, you have a fantastic social media presence. You're often on there and engaging with people, which people love. You can see that they really appreciate that. Me being one of those people. And I'm wondering too, if you wanted to keep something sort of fresh, because you said after 5 to 7 days, it feels like it kind of goes by the wayside. Maybe after a few weeks, you can put it, repost it or something. Have you ever done that? Or sort of
girlfriend?
Recycle? I don't know. Recycling?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I been there, done that. And you know what? You have to walk that fine line that if you post it too much, you upset people, and you have people walking away from doing the exact opposite than what your intentions are. Exactly. So you have to be wise. You have to live and learn. Once again, I might not be smart, but I definitely have earned some wisdom in my years on this plane.
Well,
Yeah.
I would beg to differ. I think you're quite intelligent, very articulate, very eloquent, and wise. It's all good. But yeah, it is a fine balance on social media. What to post, how many times, when, where, and all that good stuff. And then
Yeah.
YouTube is great too. And Spotify, you're on Spotify, you're on YouTube.
Well, I have a
So,
worldwide distribution deal, and so I should be on everything
on
according
everything,
to
yes. Yeah.
according to what I'm paying for. I'm supposed to
Yes.
be on everything. So
Good. Darn straight.
uh,
Should be. Because I have seen you literally virtually everywhere.
awesome.
But that's
It's good
great.
to
But
hear. That's
yes,
good to
and
hear.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
excited. So now, have you been able to see the guys in person at all? Like, have they been sort of self-isolating where you can all
My
get
band.
together? Yeah, where you can actually
Uh,
get together, or are you all
well, no, because we all live in different towns, so everybody has to
okay?
travel
Yeah,
to
that's a
get
big thing.
together.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
you know what? I put a vote out going, who wants to try and get together next month?
Yeah,
What's it
yeah.
worth to us? Is it worth somebody getting sick? Or and the vote.
Yes.
We did one show this summer,
Mm,
and July 4th it was a private show, and was behind screens for the first time on a small stage in a private setting.
yeah.
And that was a real experience. I learned how much I don't really want to have to do that. But if
Yeah.
that's where it has to go so that I can start to make money
Yes.
again,
Yeah.
I'm willing, just like I'm willing to wear a mask so that I
Yeah.
can get back to
So you can
work.
do it. Yeah. It's your
It
passion.
ain't
Yeah, of
going to
course.
happen until everybody figures this out, right?
I
It's
know, I
like,
know. And then this vaccine is supposed to be getting rolled out, so to speak. And I don't know if I want to be the first guinea pig patient.
well, believe me, hon, you ain't going to be first. You'll
No,
be
no,
lucky
I
to
know.
get it by
Yeah,
next fall,
yeah.
which
I
in
mean,
some ways might be wonderful because then the people first will be going through whatever is not right about it.
yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, those are hopefully, if it's good, I hope that the reality is that the caretakers and the frontline workers and that all go first, and then the
That's
elderly, the ones most at risk. And
yeah, exactly.
just
Yeah.
that's the right thing to do. But lately, we haven't all been doing the right thing. So who knows?
Not everyone has, no, yeah.
No.
And it is tricky. I mean, even when you're trying your hardest, it's a test. It's such a massive test. Endless, just endless
Yes,
test of
it is.
will,
very
sheer
tiring.
will. It's just, oh my goodness, yeah, it's something. And I'd like to say that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but oh man, it's trying. It's very trying. What about the holidays? Do you think, I mean, do you still get to see your kids during this whole crazy time, or are they separate from everyone as well?
Well, my youngest is in last year of university, and
Okay.
he basically was paying big bucks to live in an apartment in another city
Hmm.
to do school online. So he came home when they
Yeah.
closed the school last year, and he's still here. So he's got one more semester, and then he's graduated. He's already got a job in his field. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he'll be moving out. And my eldest is living in Vancouver, being very careful.
Good, good.
And
Yeah.
uh,
So, but do you
well,
think
I'm
you'll
not
get,
sure what we're going to be doing for
yeah,
Christmas. I'm not
that's the
sure.
thing, right? I mean, that's the big question. What's everyone doing for Christmas this year, if
Yeah,
anything, right? Yeah. Well, I
yeah.
do wish your family the best during the season, and I hope you get to see them. It's just,
And
it's
to you as
heartbreaking.
well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess my final question is there
Final question.
a final question? Unless you want to just keep talking. But I was thinking about this last night. I thought, well, what has she maybe never shared with anyone in any interview that maybe she always had wished and was too afraid to, or I don't know, it's one of those. Just if there's anything you think we would love to know about you that maybe we would not expect, or that you just want to share that maybe you haven't shared before.
And, I don't think there's anything I haven't shared,
Open
besides
book.
the things that might get me killed. So
Oh, well, shoot, we won't share those.
I won't go there. I won't go there. But no, I think that I have been an open book pretty much my whole career.
Yeah.
And it's got me into trouble, but it's also brought me some wonderful people and good friends. And
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? No,
Amazing journey for sure. I
nothing you
mean,
don't know.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
been a wonderful time, some terrible downs and some fabulous highs. And like I learned about 5 years ago, or a saying, my favorite saying, most to the point, is that the only thing you have control over, it's not my saying, is how you react. And that is exactly right. I mean,
It is.
If there's always going to be a challenge, you might as well be fighting for what you want. Figuring out what that is sometimes very interesting. Knowing what it is you want, that's key. Or another good one is the boat in the ocean with no rudder. And so you're not dying, you're floating around, you might be having fun, but until you have a rudder and a direction and a destination, you're just going to keep floating around. So
that's true.
Yeah.
You gotta figure it out.
Words of wisdom. There you go. Words of wisdom.
More words of wisdom. I appreciate it. Okay, so I don't know if there's anything else you want to share, or if you have to go. I have been ignoring the clock. Sorry.
Yeah, I do have to go. I have to pee.
All right. Well, I want to thank you once again so much, Darby, for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. And again, stay safe and well. I'm really looking forward to anything new that might come out. I'll be checking your social media. I will share everywhere with everyone. And my pleasure. And happy holidays.
And to you, stay safe. And, we'll back and forth after, because there's a couple of questions I wanted to pose to you at this point. So
absolutely.
Have a good one. Hi to your husband who set this up.
I will tell him. And bye to the fur baby. Bye, honey.
Bye, dog. Here he is.
Sweetie. Oh, what is sweetie?
Yeah. He's not impressed.
All
Take
right.
care.
Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye for now. Cheers.